Ever feel like your past is too broken to lead to a beautiful future? Then you need to hear the story of the man who turned a dirt-poor childhood and a troubled start into one of the most legendary music careers the world has ever known. Louis Armstrong didn't come from humble beginnings. He came from no beginnings at all. In one of the roughest neighborhoods of New Orleans, known ominously as the battlefield, Louis didn't even know his actual birth date for most of his life. His mother, Mayanne, did her best to raise him and his sister, often working long hours and sometimes leaving the kids with their grandmother to survive. In the streets, he absorbed the sounds of music, gospel choirs, marching bands, ragtime tunes. The air around him was alive with rhythm and soul, even if life was constantly trying to beat him down.
Cats, you know.
They're all cats.
And for them from the heart, which gave them the reputation.
People had never heard a sound quite like his. It was bold, clear, expressive. Louis didn't just play notes, he told stories through his horn. He soon began recording, performing with legendary artists like Bessie Smith and Fletcher Henderson. Every note was a step further away from the battlefield and closer to the stars, inventing the sound of a generation. In the mid-1920s, Armstrong began leading his own bands, the Hot Five and the Hot Seven. Songs like West End Blues didn't just showcase his playing, they redefined what jazz could be. Louis introduced the world to the concept of the solo in jazz. Before him, jazz was more ensemble-driven, and perhaps without even realizing it, Louis had become the face of a new American art form. He brought joy during the Great Depression. And through it all, he stayed humble, often signing letters with his trademark "Red Beans and Ricely Yours," a nod to his roots. Louis Armstrong didn't just overcome poverty. In a deeply segregated America, he became one of the first African-American musicians to truly cross over into mainstream white audiences. He performed in places where people of color weren't even allowed in the audience, and his fame forced venues to make exceptions. But he wasn't loud about it. He let his music do the talking. Quietly, steadily, he built bridges that others could walk across. In a world trying to divide, he unified, through sound, soul, and that unforgettable smile. Then, by the 1950s and 60s, Armstrong wasn't just a jazz musician. He was an international superstar. He toured the globe, was featured in Hollywood films, and became America's cultural ambassador. And yet, he never forgot where he came from.
I don't think we'd just deliberately go over them, you know. But I mean, you see the trumpet just blow, they don't care where it plays. I mean, they just...
It's fine. I see that, because I don't believe in getting up there and...
Never forgot the battlefield. He often said, "My whole life, my whole soul, my whole spirit is to blow that horn." When he recorded "What a Wonderful World" in 1967, and yet Louis, with all his scars and wisdom, offered a gentle reminder that beauty still existed, that there was still hope. That song wasn't just a melody, it was a message, and it still touches hearts today. Louis Armstrong passed away on July 6, 1971, but his legacy? It's louder than ever. From dirt-poor beginnings to becoming a global icon, Armstrong proved that it doesn't matter where you start. It's how hard you blow your horn, how much soul you pour into your gift, how many people you lift with your story, and remains one of the most beloved musicians of all time. But perhaps the most inspiring part of his story is not the fame or the accolades. It's the fact that a boy who had every reason to give up, every reason to fail, chose instead to fight with joy, with sound, with soul. Your past does not define your future. Louis came from the worst of circumstances, but he didn't let that stop him from dreaming. One opportunity can change everything.